Let's talk healthcare. Hi, host Eric here, talking with famous people with famous person Tandy and famous person File Skies, throwing down the poke at host Eric comments. Famous person Unify and famous person Robert, who is in his normal fashion silent. And so Australia has free healthcare, like Canada, it sounds like, and Unify indicated that the U.S. was way behind in terms of healthcare. Somebody else indicated they think healthcare should be free. Uh, what are your thoughts? Let's get into that, because I've often said, well, the government shouldn't take taxes and yada yada yada. Well, that would preclude socialized medicine. Um, Most people, almost everybody I meet, disagrees with me on this. They say if anything else, if nothing else, healthcare should be included in infrastructure. What are your thoughts, Tandy?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't want your financial situation to really be the um, kind of like define whether you have access to proper healthcare or not. Like you don't want your financial situation to not let you have some sort of critical operation, or it might like end your life earlier than you wanted it to. So healthcare is like one of those things where everyone should have access to it, regardless of where you are financially. Just because not everyone is as fortunate, and not everyone would be able to pay those hefty fees. Yeah, I definitely see it as a human right to be able to receive healthcare.
Well, it's not a
But
negative. It's not a right. You might see it as a ground level entitlement to which all individuals have some sort of claim upon society, but it's not a right. If it were a right, you should be able to just sit somewhere with a medical problem, inform no one about it, and if you were to die by doing nothing, then somebody would have to be responsible for your death. That's obviously not the case, so it's obviously not a right.
okay, it then the first thing you said.
Okay, so I mean, here's the thing. I'm tempted to come around on this point, actually. That which confers a duty upon another. That's the definition of a right. For it's the only meaningful definition there is. So, um, I'm about ready to come around on this healthcare point and say, all right, fine, let's have government do healthcare as well, because even though it's messy, it's messy with my logical system. I can probably horseshoe it in somewhere with some kind of specious reasoning. I mean, but the thing is, I hate justifying anything by purely utilitarian reasons. There ought to be a morally consistent, ethically consistent uh, reason within the existing logical framework to do that. I'm having trouble finding it. Yeah, I know, Faust guys. You're giving me a UN definition. That's the UN definition. That's not a definition of a right. That's a human right. When you throw a word in front of a right, you're not defining a right anymore. It's called a term of art. A term of art is a expression that's made up of more than one word that refers to a specific thing. It has definitions that are distinct from um, anybody who's trying to talk about this topic meaningfully cares about that question very much. If you're trying to meaningfully talk about it, yeah, right. And we're talking about what that meaning is. Okay. So I'm going to ignore any further trolling attempts. If you want to have something meaningful, so to speak, to add to the conversation, go ahead. But I'm not going to get myself interrupted by more trolling. Um, so anyway, uh, the the thing is about the healthcare. If we acknowledge the fact that it's okay to steal money from people in order to support people who can't support themselves in this area for whatever reason, then it really is a slippery slope, as we've seen in society. We end up with this massive, convoluted system of rules and protocols and laws that restrict people's liberty with no good justification or just arbitrary, you know? And so it concerns me to crack open a perfectly good ethical system that just is based on negative rights, that is logically consistent, that works across the board, because we assume that if we were to get rid of government support for healthcare, that people wouldn't get healthcare, you know?
Well, it just means that
Only if
some
that
people wouldn't get healthcare.
only if that phrase is an ins. Oh, okay, you corrected yourself. All right, fine. No, you're not arguing what I'm saying. I'm not going to respond to that. You're arguing irrelevant things again. So anyway,
No, I was just saying it means,
not you. I'm not
um,
talking to you. Sorry. I have to.
yeah, no, no, I
Files
was,
guys is distracting the shit out of me. Go ahead.
I was saying that like some people won't have access to healthcare based on their situation, and um, it's just situational, you know. Like some people won't be able to get healthcare,
Okay. Well,
and
but
I don't
look.
think that's right.
Here's the thing. Everyone would be able to get some kind of health care. Now, almost everyone, almost everyone, if we didn't have all the regulatory systems in place. Now, if we were going to use a single payer sort of system, that would have to be paid for through taxes. And I would be okay with a system that said, let's have the government pay for roads, let's have them pay for defense, let's have them pay for health care as well. But nothing else. Nothing else at all. But the problem is, yeah, unregulated healthcare would be great. Unregulated healthcare would be fantastic because every socioeconomic group needs to have access to some sort of healthcare, even if they can't afford full blast like sterile hospital healthcare. And the notion that somehow we can't take care of people without a medical license is absurd. It's just not true. So, I mean, I don't know. Look, I broke my hand once, and at the time, I didn't have any insurance. I had to go to County USC and get free government medical care. I had to get that, what they call free rider care, where you go in and say, I don't have any money. I don't have any insurance. I have a medical emergency. I need you to fix me. Can you please do it? And charge me only $100. And they say, okay, fine, fill out these forms. So I've taken advantage of it myself. It was a long time ago. And even more recently, I still don't have health insurance because I refused to get it with the unconstitutional individual mandate. And I broke this finger, and I just fixed it myself as best I could. And it's okay. It's kind of crooked and everything. But I just use popsicle sticks, right? Like, I am not asking others to endure anything that I myself have not endured plenty. What will I do if I get cancer? Well, I'll probably die of cancer. By the time I get cancer, I'll have health insurance. I don't like having to have health insurance. I don't want health insurance. I want medical costs to be reasonable enough that I can go in there and be a cash patient. I did go see a doctor for this finger. I was a cash patient. The doctor charged me $35. I had a conversation with the doctor previously, and he was like, "Yeah, you're I think our only cash patient." I was like, "Really? That few people are cash patients?" He's like, "Well, less than 1%." I was surprised.
Well, that's the thing. Like with something that you can't really control, something like cancer, and having to expect people to pay tremendous amounts of money to treat themselves for it. Um, I think that's not fair because like it's based on like
You wouldn't have to if it weren't for insurance companies. If the free market were really working in play here, they couldn't charge that much for cancer medications because people couldn't be able to afford it. And you're always hear this socialization grouping shit that happens. The prices get outrageously inflated. Do you think they would have charged the insurance company $35 to see me at the doctor's office if I wasn't a cash patient? No, they would have charged them $335.
mm, yeah, I this is the kind of topic that I definitely need to know more about to be able to speak on. Um,
The free market always works. Not always, but in most things it does unify. The free market works just fine. Where it doesn't work is on environmental shit. And you could argue it doesn't really work in healthcare. And I mean, I could be swayed onto the healthcare thing. When I run for president, I'd be willing to say, okay, let's put a handle on this healthcare shit. But there's so much money against fixing healthcare in the U.S. because the insurance companies have a stranglehold on shit.
I have to go now.
Goodbye, Tandy.
Um,
Sorry, I probably talked your ear off a bit. I tend to do that
no, it's alright.
sometimes.
It's fine.
Anyway, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. No problem. Welcome back anytime. Well, it's just me and a bunch of chat people now. Let's see if we can get Zach in here if possible. He indicated that Faith is leaving town for 5 days, so he's sure. Where's your friend Jack? Okay, cool. I want to talk to Jack. Oh, I should stop this video.